Alright, we're out in the woods today with just my my Bushcraft Haversack here. So I'm going to open her up and I'll show you what I keep inside. Alright, so I'll tell you about the Haversack itself. It's a waxed canvas Haversack that I made this one myself. So we can't get it anywhere. It has a little leather patch on it. My daughter designed the little squirrel that I carved into the leather. Let's take a look inside. So this is the pack that I'll take when I'm just going out for, you know, like an afternoon or something, just to play in the woods, do some bushcraft, have some tea, whatever. It's not meant for like an overnight use or like a long trip, so it's a good size for just a day. First off, I've got my water bottle. This one I just bought, actually. It's a titanium water bottle. It's a single walled bottle, so I can boil water in it if I need to. And if I'm gonna make something to drink, I gotta bring my cup. This is just a Kuksa style cup, and it comes with a little matching spoon. It's made out of recycled plastic and wood fiber, which makes it extra cool. And I usually will bring with me a couple some tea bags here. And one thing I always like to do when I'm out in the woods, or I'm going out into the woods, is pack. It's in here somewhere. There you go. I always bring an extra cup. This is just a little army surplus cup from, I think, Sweden. Yeah, made in Sweden. And it folds up. I always bring an extra cup, and I always bring some extra tea or hot chocolate or whatever I'm bringing, just in case I run into someone and I, you know, want to sit down and have a drink. It's always fun to do that with other people. It's pretty rare that I run into anyone out here. In fact, I'm not sure I ever have, but just to be on the safe side, I'll bring an extra cup always, just in case I meet a friend. Next up, I've got a nice roll of Bankline. I like Bankline in my bushcraft kit instead of paracord, just because there's like 1,000 feet of cordage on here, and if I cut it up, I don't feel bad about losing out on some paracord. I also like how invisible it gets when you construct something with it. When you lash something together, you can't really see the paracord. It doesn't stand out, which I think looks nicer. So, Bankline. My Ferro Rod, just because it's a Ferro Rod. It's the main thing I use to get a fire going. It's the easiest, and on a day like today where everything is soaking wet, it's a good thing to use. For cutting tools, I have my Baco Laplander saw. I love this saw. It is the perfect size for this kit, and 99% of the bushcraft I'm going to do, this saw is a perfect size for. So I have my Silky Big Boy, which I'll bring if I'm going to do a longer trip or I need to cut firewood, a lot of firewood. But for just your basic day in the woods, the Baco Laplander is the perfect sized saw. I have my bushcraft knife. This is a full tang bushcraft knife. It's got a really thick blade. This one is made by BPS Knives, based out of the Ukraine. If you want an inexpensive bushcraft knife that is going to last you forever and comes absolutely razor sharp out of the box, check out BPS Knives. They are a Ukrainian company, and their knives are all extremely reasonably priced, and they come with a real leather sheath. Next, I have my other fire kit. So the Ferro Rod I use most of the time, but sometimes I like to have fun and use this kit. It has flint and steel and some jute twine and some char cloth and a small thing of fat wood. I also keep a couple of these inside, and these are just scraps of waxed canvas material, like from making the Haversack or some other projects. You can shred these up and they make a great fire starter. So instead of throwing them in the garbage, I just keep them in here to use as a little fire starter. And I keep everything in this tin that I use to make char cloth. It has a little hole in it in case I need to make some more. Next up, I have my stick stove. If I'm not planning on cooking a big meal and I'm just having some hot chocolate or some tea or something, I'll use the stick stove. That way I don't have to dig a hole and clear an area, get some rocks and make a border, and use a gallon of water to put the fire out when I'm done. I can just put it on the stick stove, and whatever water's left in my water bottle is always enough to get the wood in the stick stove out. It's super handy. If there's a fire ban in the summer, I'll put my alcohol stove in here, but there's no fire ban right now. Next up I have my headlamp. I typically don't use it when I'm out here because this kit isn't for spending the night in the woods. I mean, I could, but usually it's just my afternoon kind of bushcraft kit. So keep a headlamp just in case I end up spending some more time out here than I plan, which, you know, can happen. Next up I have my sitting pad or kneeling pad. So this is wax canvas on one side and some fleece on the other side. This is a old fleece sweater that I accidentally melted part of, so I kept I kept some of the fleece material. And this is great for putting down on the ground and kneeling on when you're getting a fire going, or like you have a wet log like this and you want to sit down. It's waterproof on the one side. You can just put it down and nice and soft on this side so you can sit on it. Sometimes when I'm getting a fire going, I'll lay this down on the ground and I'll shave my fat wood stick onto this and any other tinder that I'm getting ready. I'll just put it on this. That way I can just fold it up and I can transfer it to where I'm going to light the fire eventually. So it's got a lot of uses. It's super easy to make and it's really handy. So, and it folds up really small, takes up barely any space in here. So I take this with me. And last but not least, I've got my little first aid kit. So, you know, you're using knives and saws, so it's good to have a little kit. This one it's pretty simple. It's not a trauma kit or anything. I've got some finger and knuckle band-aids in here, a couple antiseptic wipes, a little bit of gauze for cleaning up some blood, and probably most importantly is I have these. These are toilet paper tabs. So you put a little bit of water on it and it sort of folds out into a cloth, and then you can use that for, you know, what you would use toilet paper for. I don't need to tell you that. You can guess. And this pouch is actually a red pencil case I picked up at the dollar store, and then I just it was like this long, so I just trimmed it and sewed it up on the sewing machine to make a little smaller size pouch. And I wanted it to be red because, you know, it's a first aid kit, so it's got to be red. And that is it. That is the contents of my daily bushcraft haversack right now in the fall. Sometimes if I want to work on a specific project, I'll put a specific tool in here, like I'll bring my carving knives, or if I feel like carving some spoons, I'll bring my spoon carving knife or something along those lines. Or if there's a specific type of fire I want to make or a technique I want to practice, I'll put that in here. But for the most part, this is the usual stuff that I keep in here. So thanks for watching. If you carry a haversack in the woods, let me know what kind you have. Let me know what you put in it. And yes, I know backpacks exist, but I just love carrying this. It makes me happy, and it's super handy. I love being able to access it without having to take it off my back. Lid just opens, especially when I want to drink a water or something. So, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you next time.